Okay, we're back with another game in the Bronze Challenge. This game we're going to be focusing on Nami support. Nami is one of the strongest supports in solo queue. She was nerfed slightly in a recent patch, but it's literally just a love tap. It's not going to really remove her from being a top tier pick. The reasons that Nami is so powerful in solo queue is that, well, she has everything you'd want in her kit. Her Aqua Prison, her bubble, her Q, is a very powerful engage or disengage tool, allowing you to set up fights or retreat from them pretty much at will. Her W allows for sustain in lane if she finds herself in a difficult matchup, or can be used as a poke tool, bouncing off of her and the enemy in order to try and poke them out of lane and build up an advantage that way. And her E gives her again more poke, more disengage or chase potential, and her ultimate is a game changer in its ability to set up or break off of unnecessary fights. As a bonus, she does work pretty well with pretty much every AD carry or versus any opponent that she might find herself up against. And again, that really just boils down to she can do whatever she needs to do to have an effect on the game, regardless of items, regardless of matchup. So this game, I'm going to be supporting for a Caitlyn. This is about Silver 1 in our challenge so far, so we're getting pretty far up there. We're still maintaining about a 75 to 80% win rate, so I'd say we're doing pretty well. In this game, we're going to be playing versus a Thresh and Jinx. As you can see, I'm just sort of protecting our red buff, making sure that we don't get invaded or lose anything too important. Unfortunately, Caitlyn does just sort of sit at tower and doesn't really help me with guarding. Ideally, I would want to see Caitlyn standing behind or placing traps behind the red buff there. That way, they can't loop around me. But this is the safest position for me to be in order to make sure that they don't get inside our jungle and catch us out. Alright, so in this matchup, Caitlyn actually disconnects. I don't recall if she comes back right away or if it's a little bit later in the game. So we're going to leave this just for a minute or so. Now you'll notice that I actually start auto-attacking just a little bit. I do want to pick up some farm here with my AD carry AFK, because I can't say for sure if she's coming back or not. So my job is try not to let my turret fall, try not to die, and pick up any CS I can if I can do so without risk. So as you can see, I'm picking up most, but not all of the CS here, and that's just because I am scared of this Thresh. Now, Thresh has started with a Doran's Shield. Doran's Shield really isn't that powerful anymore as a start. You really only run it if you're versus a hyper aggressive early lane, like let's say a Caitlyn Lulu, or someone like that who's constantly going to be auto-attacking you and trying to zone you out. Now, in this case, really doesn't mean anything though, because I'm not going to be fighting them. My own build, this is what I build with Nami. I go with the Frost Queen's Claim item with 3 health potions and 1 mana pot. That allows me to play a very aggressive early laning phase, and even if an engage goes against me, I'm not really going to be forced out of lane because I have such a buffer of health potions to survive with. As you can see, I am going to be missing a very large amount of the CS, and I'm not overly worried about that. My job is just try not to let them shove too hard, make them think a little bit before taking our tower, and pray that our AD carry comes back. Now at this point I do mention to our jungler that, okay, we do have an AFK, do what you gotta do, I'll be fine here for now, but just keep in mind that we need to set up some early plays. Now he tries to come bot lane, and I believe I actually ping him back. As you can see here, I'm pinging him back. They know he's there, he's in vision. I don't want him going in. Instead, he comes out, clears the wave so that they can't shove in. I really don't think that's necessary on his part, but I appreciate the thought at least. Right here, I'm just typing to him saying, I'm fine, you don't need to be here. I appreciate the thought. Alright, so he actually gets first blood on our Jack's top. Not an ideal start. So I really do want to talk about how just having a good attitude towards games and playing your best regardless of situations is incredibly important. I mean, we don't have an AD carry. This is a crappy experience. This is not overly fun to me, but instead of saying, GG, we lose, surrender at 20, and just letting them stomp up mid, I'm saying, okay, what can I learn here? So I'm watching my positioning. I'm practicing a little bit of last hitting on Nami. Not that it's a skill that I'll really have to focus on in most of my games, but it's still something to think about. Now, you'll notice here, I walk around the traps rather than back into them, and return as much damage as I can. I have enough sustain, I have enough potions to deal with this, so I'm not overly concerned, but I need to make them think twice before they try and dive me next time. Yeah, so every game should be a learning experience. Even if you're not winning it, you need to be getting something from it. So, our Anivia is actually doing pretty well here. She picks up a kill, but I believe she is going to get taken down by Yi, which is unfortunate. Oh no, it's possible that Mumu will get there in time. Alright, so I should probably be saving that bubble for if they try and dive me. I'm not going to be able to land enough damage on them to be meaningful, so I should just save the cooldown. Note that I am using my E in order to help myself last hit a little bit, because, well, I don't really have enough AD to do this on my own. I actually make a large misplay here, and I get caught out. I had to flash over the traps, and I went a little bit in the wrong direction. So you can see I'm just chugging down some potions here, going, well, that sucked, but I gotta stay in lane. If I leave lane, I'm gonna fall so far behind in experience that they're gonna take the tower, and it's just gonna allow them to accelerate the game. And all I'm trying to do here is stall the game, hope for the best. Alright, so you can see Mumu is trying to come around. I do mention to him that they're probably going to try diving me soon. I have a couple issues with his gameplay here, mostly in that he continues to try going through that bush. You can't do that. You have to go through river if you're going to gank bot lane. Don't walk just through the tri-bush into lane. You're not going to land the gank. You need to end up behind them if you want to set something up. Jinx taking a tower shot there. I was a little worried here. Walking down underneath that tower is a very risky position to put yourself in, because you're lining up free skill shots for the enemy team. Thankfully, Thresh did not catch me out there, but that was poor positioning on my part, and it's something I need to watch in the future. Alright, so unfortunately another kill going down onto Jack's top lane. So we know Jax is having a lot of issues, so my focus... Okay. This sucks for me. Caitlyn has just come back. So Amumu now needs to focus top lane, right? We need to get that Jax rolling, and in the meantime, you're not going to be able to help the level 1 Caitlyn. You're not going to get her early kills. So focus on getting Jax back into the game, and I'll focus on getting Caitlyn back into the game. That really needs to be our ideal circumstance right now. I'm not sure. I think Caitlyn actually disconnects again, and then she comes back in about a minute. No, actually, she walks right into lane. I feel like she does disconnect one other time during the match, though. So no, I am level 7 because it's a solo lane versus a duo lane. They're not quite level 6. I believe they're going to hit level 6 next minion wave, although I could be wrong on that. Keeping an eye on approximately when your opponent should level up, incredibly powerful because, well, I don't want to get baited out by those double level 6 ults. So Caitlyn here is level 6, sorry, level 1 versus their level 6, walks directly into the hook, so I immediately just bubble in, try and zone this out. Because they're level 6, actually, I walk forward, block the Jinx ult, that way Caitlyn is able to stay alive. I was quite unimpressed that she literally walked into lane directly into a hook, but you can't control your allies' behavior. All you can control is your own gameplay. I see Mumu does pick up a kill onto the enemy jungler, so that's awesome. It gives us a little bit of a way back into the game here. I'm trying to prep these minions for Caitlyn as much as I can. Because she is level 1, she's not going to have the base ID to pull off these last hits. As you can see, poking down the opposing team quite heavily. Hey, Jax actually gets a kill top lane, that's awesome. We do see Casting coming down bot though. I do land the bubble, but it's not enough as he is already ignited. So I see Anivia coming in from the side here. So I'm kind of waiting to see if we can land a kill or not. Because we do see a Mumu, and we do see Anivia. I believe, yeah, not going to happen. They've already spotted him out. So I'm just going to go back to farming on my own, and I need to go back and buy. Now that the turret's not in danger, I need to pick up some items soon. The problem is, Caitlyn is still level 2. I can't go back right now. So this is just being kind of stuck, right? If I go back, it leaves Caitlyn level 2 in a 1v2 situation. I can't really do that, so I'm waiting till she's back. and then I leave. That's a misplay on my part. I either needed to back so that I could be back in lane early enough to help her out, or I needed to stay with her. But I wanted to get items. Because she disconnected for so long, I feel that I need to be able to deal damage in this lane. So as a result, I go for Frostfang, a Chalice, and then a ward, a couple potions, and a Ruby Crystal. The Ruby Crystal obviously is going to go into a Sightstone, and I do have enough wards to survive, but we're going to be stuck under tower. So I would much rather have the mana to chain my heals constantly and to try and poke the enemy team out away from my carry than I would to have an extra couple wards. Why not just pay for the wards, right? I have my Sightstone, sorry, not my Sightstone, I have my Totem ward, and I do have a normal ward on me. Both my summoners are up. I'm kind of ready to fight here. Unfortunately, while I was gone, Caitlyn shoved this out quite heavily. Ideally, Caitlyn should be freezing the lane. She wants to last hit as slowly as possible. That way the wave is pushed back towards her tower so she can farm the safest that she can. At this point though, I do remind her we can't go into lane, we cannot fight them like this, so just wait for the enemy team to push them in. Alright, so we see them starting to push in a little bit. We have our layer trap set out. So I'm going to start showing a little bit more presence here. Amumu doing a really good job here. I have to give him props for helping us through this rough early game. As much as I might complain about some of his gank paths and such, he's doing a good job and he's keeping the team motivated. So, Thresh making a significant misplay here, tanking all those minions up. That being said though, we do see Caston in time thanks to the ward I placed, and so we just sort of back out. It's obvious what he's trying to do. He's trying to set up a fight for Caston. So that gives us a warning that someone's approaching, but it also gives us a slight advantage. Because of him being such low health because of that, I can now try and be a little bit more aggressive in this lane. As you can see though, our Totem Ward does expire. I need to replace that. The only reason I don't immediately replace it is because you can see Caston on the map right now. He has gone back mid lane. As you can see here, I'm actually out-dueling them. Trying to bait out the hook, being up in their face to try and provide some coverage for Caitlyn so that she can just soak experience, and that's my main focus right now. I do land the bubble, land a lot of damage back onto them, and again just backing out, juking the hook, and just constant pressure so that Caitlyn can get back into this. She's now level 4, she's leveling up quite quickly. It's not going to be long until she's back into this game. As you can see, Thresh going very aggressive again. I do land the bubble just barely, but he is here. That's a misplay on my part. I wait till after the Alpha Strike has landed, and then I ult away. Jinx ult comes... Sorry, I flash away. The Jinx ult then comes across me, not quite able to take me down. So that is actually really good for our team. And the reason it's good for our team is because with those ults used, Caitlyn can stay in lane and farm. She's going to be able to get her level 6 here. I'm going to be able to get my Sightstone, swap out for Sweeping Lens, get a couple potions, and walk back into this lane strong as ever. Yes, I blew my flash. That sucks for me, but it's so much pressure spent on a support when Caitlyn is farming her way back into the lane. As you can see, I am danger pinging mid lane. They have wandered there. I need to make sure that Anivia doesn't get caught out. She's done quite well so far. Overall, she's 1-0-0, and she's got a significant amount of CS, so I want to make sure that she doesn't get shut down, and so just focusing my own map awareness to help my team is an important skill. Just trying to get some map control for myself. We do have a ward in the jungle already, so for now I'm just warding the Tribush. Making some calls for the team, just calling out where they're rotating to. And I'm calling for Jinx to start playing aggressively. Because Jinx is alone, I wanted to try and fight. Obviously Thresh comes back right away though, so that doesn't quite happen. Alright, so with her dropping the traps, I wanted to try and make sure that she wasn't going to fight. I threw the bubble where she would be moving if she was going to try and move up and attack Caitlyn. And in this case, she dodged out, not a big deal. So I throw the exhaust on, and immediately follow up with an ult. Unfortunately, we're not quite able to do that. There is a significant misplay here though. Caitlyn keeps trying to ult and is ignoring the support. It's hit Thresh, and you have the kill. I unfortunately do eat the Jinx ult and get taken down. I actually do mention in chat at this point, I try and be as polite as possible, but I'm just like, Jinx dude, like, sorry, Caitlyn, stop trying to focus Jinx when you can just hit the Thresh and take away the free kill, get yourself back into the game. That being said, they do get the Thresh flash, it's something. Jax teleports bot, not going to be able to get an advantage from it. I actually start pinging Dragon. I'm not aware that it's been taken at this point, but because he's here, he may as well check it, right? We have the numbers advantage at bot side. I'm saying, guys, just check dragon, check dragon. If it's gone, no big deal, but at least we'll have the vision. I'm now cycling up mid. We know that dragon's taken now, so I say, okay, cool, whatever, and I'm just going to go back towards bot lane, reestablish some of our ward control, and we'll go from there. So at this point, Caitlyn's at about 30 CS versus Jinx's 100. That being said, she's farming back in. She's slowly catching up in levels, she's slowly catching up in items, and my job is just to apply pressure anywhere else on the map that I can. Not sure why I stopped there for a second. I believe I was typing and just calling plays for the team. I don't remember what the play was though, so it's not like I can provide any insight. I may have been giving an approximate dragon timer because we didn't have vision on it. Alright, so again we see Jinx sort of moving around. I want to be proccing my Frostfang as often as I can, so I'm just trying to provide a little bit of pressure here. Unfortunately, they're not letting me move in close enough, so I end up just sort of prepping minions for Caitlyn. Unfortunately, we kind of over-prep them, / she doesn't hit the ones that I'm prepping for, so it doesn't work out that well. Amumu again not able to land that gank. Just applying my slow marks.
Rampage.
So Jax, after that rough start, has actually done very, very well for himself. He's now 4-2-1. So one of the things to keep in mind in terms of attitude and awareness is when you're having a rough game, focus on who is doing well on your team. In this game, Amumu is doing reasonably well. Jax is doing quite well. So my focus is going to be on those two people. Yes, I'm a support, but that doesn't necessarily make me Caitlyn's bitch. Yes, I'm trying to help Caitlyn back into the game, but when it comes to team fights, when it comes to communication and decision making, I'm going to be trying to follow Jax and Amumu because they're the ones playing well. I'm able to dodge out of the hook there. With the hook being down, with the traps being down, I should be trying to play a little bit more aggressively here. I probably should have danced around those traps and tried to apply some damage. Alright, so you can see Amumu's trying to cycle down here. He does get in behind. And I believe I just throw my ult. Alright, so the Bandage Tosh goes through. Throw my ult down. Nice ult coming in from him. Land my bubble across. And Amumu goes in with the flash for the kill. So that actually is huge for Caitlyn, because when you're behind, you catch up in experience very, very quickly. What sucks though is that she didn't get the assist on Jinx, but she got a kill, right? She's back in this. She's level 9 now. I'm only level 10, and I was solo experienced that whole time. So in levels, she's caught up, and levels are huge when it comes to dueling. We're trying to accelerate the game here by pushing in this tower as fast as possible. I drop a quick ward and Tribush to make sure they can't collapse onto us, and then we're going to shove this in. If you're ahead in bot lane, you generally want to keep the tower up if you're able to consistently land kills on your opponent. You can freeze the tower, kill them every time they show up in lane, pick up a huge CS advantage, and continue snowballing that advantage. When you're behind, though, you need to end that laning phase, right? In this case, take the tower, take the kills, take whatever you can, and then try and group with your team who are doing better than you are so that they can carry you back into the game. Now, in terms of items, I have opted to go for Boots of Lucidity here, as well as working towards my Frost Queen's Claim. I want to get as many CDR items as I can, hit that cap, and throw out more and more and more alts. Just a quick comment towards farm again. Between myself and Caitlyn, we have about 80 to 90 CS, depending on how you want to look at it, versus 140 on Jinx. So while we're down CS, simply taking a look at the 80 carry CS would not make sense to do. Because if you look at that, oh, they're well over double your farm, you have no way to fight. Unfortunately, I was not pinging that properly. So I'm actually pinging back here. I don't want this fight. I just want the pink ward. Jax instead, though, does go in, eats the exhaust. He immediately goes on to me. And then try and throw my ult backwards, but I'm caught out and dead. The Anivio wall wasn't quite where we needed it. This was just a miscommunication, and it's something that I did poorly. I wanted to clear the pink ward, my team wanted to fight. Yes, it kind of sucks that I ate so much damage, I ate so much CC. That sucks. But that's a very minor mechanical mistake rather than a communication, decision-making, gameplay mistake. I should have been spam pinging back, being like, don't chase, don't chase, don't chase, spam pinging, making sure they don't go in on that, because that's not a fight we want. I just wanted to clear out the pink board myself, and my team misread that. So I need to work on my communication in that sense. As you can see, I do pick up a Fiendish Codex here, trying to finish up Frost Queen's Claim, get a little extra CC, get some more CDR as well. So off of that, we do lose our mid tower as well, and we do lose the dragon. So we have an approximate timer on that. I probably should have used that sweeper behind the red buff, because that's the more likely case for them to be placing wards. I do want to clear the pink ward, but I'm not 100% confident in doing it alone, because we don't see anyone on the map. Alright, so I really like this ward position in solo queue, because it gives you so much vision of paths they might want to cycle through, or go through in order to catch you out, get in behind you. And especially with a Yi on the team, with a Cassidy on the team, if they get in behind you, that's going to be a huge pain. So I do end up clearing the pink ward now that I have some vision on their team. And Thresh clears my ward. So I'm cycling into bot. Unfortunately, they do back out, so I just go my own way. And again, just trying to help out my team. Caitlyn is farming. She's relatively safe. So I'll just let her do her thing, get some experience, get some extra farm, and I'm going to focus on map control and trying to be in a position to help my team. Jax is doing a relatively good job of knowing his limits here. He shoves in, and then he, instead of trying to kill Aatrox, backs out. We don't have vision on them, so I like that decision there. Alright, so Caitlyn does get killed by Yi. That's unfortunate, but nothing I can do about that. Alright, so with Caitlyn dead and Jax not here, I'm making sure our team doesn't fight. I'm just like, please don't do this. I also remind him that they're collapsing, because we have vision of it. Now, Thresh is caught out alone. I apologize if there's some video issues here. Thresh is caught alone. We're trying to chase him in, but we don't really get anything because Jinx shows up, and we do see Cassidy. He, in the meantime, is taking bot lane. I'm reminding my team, we either have to fight mid or we have to defend bot. We have to do one or the other. We can't really do both. Unfortunately, I ran out of ward charges here. I wanted to get some vision in that bush, but I didn't have anything to place. So I opted to go bot lane. Not necessarily the right decision, but I wanted experience. Get my level 11. Extra point in the ult's always useful. Alright, so when you're behind, or even when you're ahead, taking double golems bot lane is a nice way to build up an advantage in terms of gold. So I actually ping that for Caitlyn and set it up as best I can, giving her some nice little buffs, and then we just sort of cycle around here. That being said, you generally need to be able to do it quite quickly for it to be worth it, because if not, you're going to miss some CS in lane. In this case, I think we only lost one minion, so it's still totally worth it. So at this point, I need to go back and recharge my Sightstone. I'm not 100% sure if I do that, and I think I don't, because I'm worried about them just taking our mid lane. I'm calling for Nivea to just try and stall out the game and hold, because she can do that so efficiently. Alright, so I'm actually telling them not to chase because we don't have vision in there, and Jax is not with us, and they're pushing in mid, right? It's so many things that could go wrong in that. So I'm going to follow Mumu down just so he has a little bit of protection. Use my sweeping lens. Call for double golems again, because again, you just keep wanting to get her back into the game as much as we can. And then I opt to go hang out with a Mumu, pick up some of the experience. Alright, so now I am going to finally recharge my Sightstone here. I'll also be... Oh, maybe not. Oh, right, this is one of those things I was making sure Caitlyn took the wave. Because she was trying to go back when there was another free wave of farm in a relatively safe position to get to, and we had enough vision of the enemy team in order to justify taking it. So I made sure I stayed for experience there. As you can see, I do pick up Frost Queen's Claim, get a couple potions, and make sure that I have the extra Sightstone charges ready to go. So Dragon's coming up in just a few seconds here. Unfortunately, we haven't had control over it due to the poor early game, so it's not really something we can safely contest. I do try and move up there to get some wards down, but I'm not confident that I'm able to do anything. As you can see, I am pinging it. They've already taken it, though. Not quite able to connect on my bubble, a little bit sloppy on my part. Caitlyn is not quite here, but very nice wall coming in. A Moo ult used just to take out the support, but at this stage, why wouldn't we do that, right? It gives us a little bit of a way back into the game, and it then gives us a numbers advantage to try and push. I actually did tell a Moo, no, that's gone. We know we can't take Dragon, but it's nice to have the at least vision on it to reset the timer. Jax is getting collapsed on top lane right now, so I'm calling for us to push in mid. As you can see, I'm also going to place a ward in this cross bush, whatever you want to call it, to try and get a little bit of vision. Yeah, I was seeing if he could maybe like jump to me or something, but I want to cover this retreat. Oh, maybe I don't ward that. I should have. I definitely should have been warding that bush, because we know exactly where they are. And on Caitlyn's positioning there, she shouldn't be standing close to that bush. I do ward a little bit deeper, but I should have still had something in the bush. Obviously, Yi is just going to be playing the split push game all game long, as to be expected. That's what he does best. Getting a little bit more CDR here, working towards my Crucible. Now, Crucible actually isn't the ideal choice in this match. I picked up Crucible because it's habit, and because it's such a very, very powerful item. But if you look at the enemy team, there's not that much to remove. He's just going to be focused on damage. Caston doesn't have any significant CC. Really, the only person I'm going to be using it versus is Thresh, right? And it's still a good option, even if it's just the one champion. But it's not like they have a Vygar stun, a Morgana binding, a Fiddle Fear, something like that that's going to be used on your AD carry and just setting up a huge, huge play. Very, very nice combo from Anivia. That's actually a relatively difficult combo to pull off, but she's been playing really well this game, so props to her. We actually do see them in behind us. I'm calling for Baron because we've taken down their AD carry. Jax has the lifesteal to tank this here, so I'm just trying to give him a little bit of sustain. When you are taking Baron, though, try and sidestep the goop. If you stand still, it's going to kill you. Now, I think we actually do make a small misplay here. I throw down the exhaust onto Yi. If we exhaust Yi, that's perfect. I land the bubble onto the Kassadin. Aatrox then comes up. Free kills for us. That was very, very well played. Unfortunately, Caitlyn did not want to group with us and does die. But that was actually a beautiful combo there. I'm really proud of how that got played by our team and by myself. Just very good priority targets in terms of CC abilities. Unfortunately, respawn timers are still pretty short. And we don't have Caitlyn up. Caitlyn's up now, but she's not going to be here in time. As you can see, I'm going to drop ward over the wall and try and set up some ability for us to poke down this tower. I'm actually calling for us to take the tower and then back out. And then as soon as I see them positioning that closely and Caitlyn not being able to home guard back to us or something, I realized, yeah, we just have to run. In the meantime, we could have taken bot lane tower. That would have been a better call. Instead of trying to contest mid, just rush directly to bot and take the tower without any real issue. Alright, so Crucible is finished up now. Rearranging my item slots. Maybe it's just myself, but I would actually recommend, if you're using a lot of active items, such as well, obviously, Crucible being the main one, but even things like Frost Queen's Claim, Locket, anything that's an active item that you're using commonly, I strongly suggest keeping it on the same slot, no matter what champion you're using, and making sure that you get in the habit of using those keys. The number of people I see, and I can't really exclude myself from it because I'm definitely guilty of not using active items, is mind-boggling. Now, I want to point out why I used the bubble there. Yes, my reaction time was poor, I didn't need to throw it there, but if Yi had gone in onto a Mumu, that's where he would have landed. He would have ended up behind a Mumu, and the bubble would have hit. I also threw the bubble down onto their blue buff to try and give vision, because if it's a minion, it does give you some sight on it. I then know it's down, so I just drop the ward around behind, and then I'm with Caitlyn here, just trying to push this in, apply a little bit of pressure. Alright, so we know that mid lane needs help. I'm going to try and back out while providing a little bit of safety for Caitlyn. She can do that, and the rest of us can hold, because Anivia is phenomenally strong at holding lanes. That's one of her strongest abilities. So the tower is going to go down, but we should be able to hold the mid one. Unfortunately, Anivia goes way too deep and gets caught out. I land a very nice ultimate across them, but it's not enough. I'm trying to save the Anivia egg here, and I probably shouldn't be doing that. I flash way too early. I throw down Crucible on myself even though it is way too late. And Caitlyn just kind of... poor combo there. She needed to keep running and kiting instead of face tanking the Yi. So that was a significant misplay, obviously. We do survive just barely though. At this point, Jax just needs to stall out and wait for the respawn timers. Yeah, it's only 15 seconds on Amumu here, 15 seconds on myself. The enemy team backs out to take Dragon. Now, I believe Jax tries to chase them here. Maybe not. I think that's a later on fight.
Purple team has slain the dragon.
Yeah, so he's actually going to try and contest Dragon. That's a really dumb thing to do. You're not going to be able to 1v4, and you're not going to be able to outsmite him. So he just suicides for no reason, and that means we can't make any plays for the next while. We've been doing very, very good at getting back into the game, actually. And the rest of his gameplay has been moderately good, so it's not like I can really be negative with him. But at the end of the day, that was a stupid play, and I wish he wouldn't have done that. Now, that being said, I've said so many times you can't control what your allies do, but I still should have noticed him doing that and just been like, dude, please don't go in, and just like back ping over and over again. I went a little too close there without trying to ward. I loop around, place a ward. But yeah, I definitely shouldn't have walked in without warding first. So we see Aatrox going in behind. I do danger ping it, and I immediately try and respond, get back in there. So Mumu does start dueling him, and then Aatrox immediately backs out when he sees that I'm there. So he's continuing on with his split push. Caitlyn's the only one defending that, so we gotta keep an eye on it. Because, well, Caitlyn's not gonna be able to duel you, we've seen that already. I'm gonna rotate down into bot lane once the pressure's applied. Aatrox in the meantime is split pushing top. So we have to decide which one we're going to defend. I see Jax going up towards Aatrox, and I see the rest of their team mid. So instead, I opt to follow up with Jax because, well, I kind of trust his gameplay. I've seen him do pretty well so far. So I ping that I am on my way. Unfortunately, though, Aatrox doesn't engage. This is just back and forth. I'm trying to be where I can have an influence, and unfortunately, that sometimes means that you're just going to be walking back and forth a lot. Alright, so now they're doing the same thing with mid and bot lane. Jax is trying to apply a little bit of top pressure. He does ward, so he shouldn't get caught out. We don't have an inhibitor up in mid, so that's why I'm a little bit more focused on bot lane. Unless they're pushing all the way into our nexus, and in that case we should be able to collapse on them, bot lane is the more important lane to defend in my eyes. Alright, so he's actually going to clear our ward. I go drop another. And as you can see, they are going to rotate bot because that's where the objective is for them to take. another good wall coming out. Amumu follows up with bandage toss. I follow up with a stun. Amumu follows up with his ult, making sure that they can't grab that lantern. A little bit of overkill, but at the end of the day, who cares? We take out their AD carry, and that's what matters. So Caitlyn and Anivia are left to deal with the base. I'm following up with Amumu because, well, we don't really want this fight. I throw down my ult, throw down the bubble, landed on both of them actually, which is very nice. And just make sure that Amumu doesn't get caught out, because if not, well, he's going to die there. In the meantime, Jack's taking top tower and trying to duel Aatrox. As you can see, Yi is moving up there. I'm danger picking it, making sure that he can get out. I also do call in chat, saying that there's 4 people top lane, and I believe he's just able to recall here. So that's awesome. Now, I do pick up a... I'm working towards the Randuins, because they have an Aatrox and they have a Yi, both of whom are doing relatively well. So I want to make sure that we don't get caught out by those AD assassins. We know Baron's up, but Caitlyn's dead. So I'm saying, like, guys, don't fight that. Don't fight that. You can't contest it. I'm pleasantly surprised, though, in that Anivia is able to pick up the kill. But then they're going to be collapsed on. Amumu's immediately dead. Anivia is, I believe, taken down soon after. I'm only here because I have the Crucible and I have the Bubble. As you can see, Jax is teleporting in behind. They're in egg form right now. I'm going to drop my ult right now. It's just coming off cooldown. I don't quite hit it onto Caston, but it doesn't matter. I bought enough time for Anivia to revive and for Jax to teleport in. As you can see here, Thresh is able to hook to him in and escape. I believe I missed my bubble here. Just barely. I start chasing for a little bit. I realize it's a dumb decision, so then I ping mid and regroup with my team. I then actually call for Baron because Caitlyn is up. I don't believe she responds in time, though. I could be wrong on that. Yeah, I had some issues this game with Caitlyn just not showing up to some of these fights. Unfortunately, no one went on to the ward. At the end of the day, though, I can only really blame myself. We saw the ward, but I didn't attack it. I kind of thought Jax was going after it. But yeah, I can only really take blame for that. That's my bad. So I'm going to move over and try and bubble him. Unfortunately, he flashes over it and smites. And that's because, well, I didn't clear the fucking ward. My fault. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, though. We did kill Yi. As much as it sucks losing Baron, farming our way back into this, fighting our way back into this, is a good sign. So I'm just going to recall here because we do have an open inhib, and the remainder of their team does have Baron. I don't want to get caught out. Alright, so still working on my Randuins. I have the Giant's Belt now, so I have a lot more health. I have a decent amount of armor. Should be good to go here. I have 132 armor, 87 magic resist. I'm pretty damn beefy once you consider the Crucible, the Exhaust, the Ult, the Bubble, the Heal. I mean, I'm pretty survivable. Now, you actually can build AP on Nami, but focus on the AP itself, not things like Magic Pen. Because you care about the utility scaling on the AP, not the actual damage. Alright, so I land my Frost Queen's Claim. I wasn't able to land my Bubble, I was a little slow on it. I then throw my ult across. Unfortunately, well, it's Caston. It's not going to catch him. So, a little bit off on my part, but end of the day, we still get what we need to do. I ping bot because that's where Caitlyn is. I believe she does get away just barely. I E myself to give myself a bit of a speed buff, walk into the bush, use my W to try and catch her out, but it's a little too late. Curse you, Rito, with your movement speed nerfs. Alright, so I'm pinging for bot lane tower, because it's open, why not take it? Alright, so he's in our base. I actually called that and one person went back. That being said, Anivia goes way too deep. I actually called her out on that a little bit, saying like, dude, like, you didn't need to go that aggressive. I land my bubble on Caston. Not able to save them though. I should be dead here.
Aced.
And unfortunately, that's then going to be our loss. So overall, some good gameplay, a lot of back and forth here. At the end of the day, it really boiled down to a couple things, mostly, and I don't want to call her out on it, but like, Anivia did go way too deep. There was also some miscommunication on who was going to deal with Yi. Originally, I thought Amumu and Jax were going to go back and combo in on him. If that was the case, the rest of us could have done a safe tower siege and been able to take the tower safely or simply retreat, and Yi would have pretty much immediately died. Instead, we split our focus and ended up losing the game as a result. So I wanted to upload this as a difference of just like how you can get your advantage back even after a really poor start, and how you can try and cycle things through. At the end of the day, yes, we lost the game, but it gives a good example of not only some good Nami combos, because I did reasonably well there, but also some advice on ways that you can build up an advantage, ways that you can remain useful, even when the game looks completely lost. That very easily could have been a win. It was just some poor communication. So that is something that I would need to work on in the future. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoy that. In the meantime, if you guys do want to watch, we are just finishing up the Bronze Challenge. We're already in Silver 1, about to get promoted to Gold. Going to continue that throughout the week. We stream full-time over on twitch.tv/pro4never. We also do twice weekly free ranked workshops if you guys want some personalized advice. So until next time, I hope you guys have an awesome time, and I'll talk to you later.